Okay. Well, good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on TCI Foundations on High School. I'm going to be your presenter today, Michael Washington, and I am a teacher in Sacramento, California. I have been a high school teacher for 21 years. I teach ninth grade and 11th grade students primarily, but it's been a amazing journey to get here. I've been a trainer with TCI for a year now, and I'm just really excited to show you guys some of the things that we have to offer for our high school program. I want to introduce my co-host Derek. Just Derek, real quick, you want to say hello and give a quick shout out?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, my name's Derek. I work on the software team at TCI, so I'm involved with a lot of just the product updates and stuff like that. But yeah, nice to see everyone here.
Thank you, Derek. So, there's if you guys have some questions and Q&A in the chat, Derek's gonna be helping manage the chat and stuff for me and letting me know to answer any of you guys' questions or concerns. But just a quick of housekeeping things. Um, we have the chat and we have the Q&A. The chat is just for you guys to just share anything that you guys want to share to the whole entire room. The Q&A is really just like about share if it's a direct question for Derek or myself, then you want to put in the Q&A and we will try to answer that as quickly as we can. Um, I don't know about you guys, but I'm at the point in my life where I watch a lot of things on closed caption. So we have the option on putting this presentation in closed captioning. So you can have the option of doing that. And then once again, the chat is for everyone. So everyone sees it. And so share all your ideas, thoughts and, positive things that about teaching and TCI. So with that said, let's get going. So I want to play a quick I can always know who's in the room. I'm a teacher, so one of the first things I do to kind of just see personalities, I can just play some icebreakers. And this is going to be a super quick one, but there's some very important questions I'm going to have you guys answer today. And so this is what we call this or that. So I'm going to put the poll up, and I want you guys to answer these poll questions. 3 questions. Are you hamburger or hot dog people? It's the summertime. What do you go for first when you hit that cookout or barbecue? Dog, cats. I know that's a big rivalry that's out there. Or pizza or spaghetti, right? It's one of my I love Italian food. But one of the general Italian dishes are pizza and spaghetti. Which one are we here? So I'm getting some results back, and we have mostly hamburger people here in the room. Okay. I'm actually a hot dog guy. I go the hot dogs first. A little mustard, sauerkraut. That's all I need. They're calling them glizzies nowadays. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a new thing. But that's what I heard the kids call them glizzies. I gotta say that I am a dog person because I have my own dog. I have a dog, and his name actually is Pizza. So that probably tells you what I am gonna tell you next about my favorite food, spaghetti or pizza. It's gonna be pizza because I just love pizza. But we got about, let's see, 71% of dog people in the room. 73%. We have a new cat person this answers the poll. And we have about 87% pizza over spaghetti. I appreciate you guys definitely playing along with me. But I like to know. I'm just surprised that there's not more hot dog people in the room. Everybody's a burger person here. All right, so I'm gonna just share the results with you guys real briefly. As you guys can see, 94% hot dogs, 73% dogs versus cats, and 87% pizza over spaghetti. So thank you guys for playing along. All right, so with that being said, I want to let you guys know what we're talking about today, and we're really just trying to go over the foundations of TCI. I'm going to show you guys how to navigate TCI a little bit, and also how to do a TCI lesson, or to kind of just break down what a TCI lesson looks like, and also our online professional development courses. Talk a little about that at the end as well. So, in the chat, I'm just curious. Um, Put a number 1 to 5. Okay. 1 to 5. 5 is like, I've been using TCI for 15, 20 years. I'm an expert. 1, I'm just brand new to it. 3, I'm in the middle, 4. So 1 to 5 is in the chat. Can you guys just share your familiarity or comfortable ability with TCI? Okay, thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. And there's no shame to be a 1 or 5. I consider myself like a 4 because TCI is always changing and it's always doing new things. So definitely, I'm glad there's a lot of new people here. Eric, if anytime you want to jump in and give any advice, I appreciate that as well. For some, and Lisa, oh, since the 90s. Lisa, you can probably tell us a lot of things, not just about TCI, but I'm sure it's about teaching in general. So thank you very much for sharing that. So you threes and ups, feel free to jump in at any time. But I just wanted to share that TCI really is about us teachers. We are all classroom teachers that are training specialists or have classroom experience. Um, we are committed to provide the experience that really is improving the classroom from a teacher's perspective, and to improve it not just for our students, but also to improve it for the lives of teachers as well. So TCI is really built to have resources and set up to make teachers' lives easier, but also to make students more engaged into the classroom. We have 4 or 5 different programs, starting with Geography Alive. That's our geography program. We have an Econ Alive, The Power to Choose, Government Alive, Power of Politics and You, History Alive, which is Pursuing American Ideals, is our U.S. History course, and U.S. History Alive, which is our World Connections, which is our World History course as well. So a quick look into a TCI classroom. This is a activity that is called rock, paper, scissors, and students learn the basics of capitalism and communism. It's for our world program, our 10th grade world history program. You're going to notice in TCI that students are going to be up and moving around. They're going to be engaging with one another. You can teach obviously with just a text and tell students to answer things and have them read, but that's not the heart and soul of TCI. TCI is really about the lesson activities, and you're going to see students are going to be engaged. This is one of my favorites. This is getting processed through the medical on Ellis Island. This is a Pursuing American Ideals lesson, and I love this lesson because it kind of tells you, it really shows a difference of the different experience of people's transitioning into immigrating to the United States. It talks about how Angel Island and Ellis Island were completely different experiences, totally all together. But it also just a fun activity for students to get engaged and to kind of think through it, and also to start thinking about and comparing to current events today and how to make that make sense for your classroom as well. This is actually my classroom. They are doing an activity about the 1920s. They're at a 1920s party. They all are assigned to a certain character, and they are role playing and teaching one another at this party about the accomplishments of major American figures from the 1920s. This is also one of my classrooms. This we decided to go outside with that day, but they are interviewing each other on push and pull factors of migration into the United States. So that's another activity that we've done. This is also in my classroom. This is we're going to go over a little bit today. It's called the red dot game. But I want you to show you some of the engagement that you will see. They are accusing each other of being suspicious or not. And so it's just I wanted to kind of show you like they're all up, they're all kind of engaged, but there's some of them get really excited and get real motivated about what's happening in the game. But they have to join groups. I'm gonna go over the game with you guys a little bit here. They have to join groups and decide who in the group is the suspicious person, and it's based off of communism and the Cold War, and just the whole McCarthyism movements and the fear of communism, anti-communism fears. So exciting game, a lot of fun. My students loved it. It's always good when your students tell you that after the class that they had fun in that lesson. But it's not just about fun. They actually do learn a lot. So we're gonna kind of go a little bit into that here in a little bit. But at the end, I want you guys just to know, those of you that are new to TCI, what makes TCI great is the classroom activities. That is the heart and soul of the lesson. We can give you a textbook. Any publisher can give you a textbook and have students read. But we are actually giving you lessons and strategies to help your classroom be more engaged. And the best part about it is that you don't have to spend a whole entire day planning these things. They're already set up, ready to go for you. You just got to look at some of the things that you need to do, lesson planning box, and you'll be ready to go. So I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and do that with a TCI lesson. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. So we are going to go into lesson 40 for US is fighting a Cold War at home. How did the anxieties by the Cold War affect life in the United States? So this is the game that I was actually showing the students the video of. They were actually doing this lesson. So I'm going to transfer over here into my TCI account, if you guys do not mind. I actually want to stop here for a second and just let you guys know there are 6 styles of strategies to all the TCI lessons. And the 6 different styles are visual discovery, where they use the image to kind of connect to the work, social skill builders. They have also response groups where they have to think about group work and kind of have some type of response to the situation or the question that they're being asked. Experimental exercises is what we're gonna go over here, but kind of students kind of engaging into the actual history. Writing for understanding, where there's basically the assignments and the activity is very writing based and focused, and problem solving group work, just getting students to work with one another to solve a problem. So you're gonna see that 6 different strategies in all different lessons from TCIs. Thank you, Sharon. Really do appreciate it. There are really some really cool stuff that we do here and some good ideas. So let's go ahead and look at our lesson. So when you guys enter TCI, this is going to be the home page that you're going to look at. And I want to just focus first on the lesson, because what I want you guys to leave here today, I want you guys to leave here with something you can take back to your classrooms immediately. So typically, you're going to start here. You see the different units that TCI has to offer. This is for U.S. history. This is for pursuing American ideals. But you can see how that's broken up into 9 different units. We're going to jump right into the lesson. So I'm going to take you to lesson number 40. This is in Unit 5. And this orange box here is your best friend when it comes to planning a TCI lesson. This orange box pretty much has almost everything that you need to know if you are going to do a TCI lesson. I'm going to get back to the box here in a second, but I want to just go through the most important thing for you guys today. And that is, you scroll down to this classroom activity slideshow. Literally, as a teacher, this slideshow, if you just go slide by slide, you can get you can totally do a TCI lesson with little preparation and feel confident that the students are gaining knowledge and they're getting objectives that you're looking for your history classes. So I'm going to jump into the activity slideshow. The cool part about it kind of gives you a little bit of idea about what time it takes for the slideshow. Now, some teachers are faster, some teachers are take a little more time. That's going to be totally up to you. I would just tell you that give yourself grace the first time that you do it. As you do it like a different period, or you do it more than once, then start modifying and changing things that you feel like you need to. But absolutely, this is kind of just a, a a roundabout guide about where you should be. So, every lesson is going to have the preview. It's going to have activity. It's going to have vocab words and terms for that lesson, and then the processing. The processing is one of the most important things I believe in a lesson, because of the fact that the processing is the assessment. It's the way you assess, and some people still love to assess with questions and short answers, but this processing is, I like to assess what the students understood and got this way because it's just fresh for me. I think there's a lot of ways to show what you know, and not always needs to be a test version. Okay, so let's see here. Why isn't I apologize. There you go. So the lesson starts off with read an introduction. You're gonna have students do a reading. This is what a TCI reading looks like when it's online. And the readings, there's some cool things you can do. I wanted to share some of these cool things. One of the cool things is that you can change the reading level. If it's at reading level A, then that means that you can change it to level B as well for your students, which is about 25% of a lower Lexile level, but it does help with some of the differentiating that we have in our classroom and the different levels of students that we have. We have
Fighting the Cold War at home.
Texas.
How did the anxieties raised by the Cold War affect life in the United States?
I know that at my campus, we have a lot of English language learners. Texas Speaks is a good tool to help them hear things and to learn things. And also, there's some students that have IEPs that need Texas Speech as well. So TCI can provide that stuff for you. Main ideas. Sometimes you don't have enough time, or you can use these main ideas as a learning tool. But if you hit the main idea button, the light bulb, the highlights of the readings will pop up in blue. I use this actually as a learning tool where I tell my students that, hey, I want you to find the three main ideas, the two main ideas of the reading. And I have them highlight it with this button here. They can highlight it. And then I show them the actual main idea later after they've chosen their own highlights. But students get to highlight things that they think that are important in the reading, and this actually stays logged in a certain place for the students to see in their notes as well. So that's just a couple of the small things when it comes to the reading. So for the warm-up activity, the students are going to look at this picture. They're going to say, and you have these questions right here that you can prompt them with, or you can prompt them with your own questions. Feel free to always do that. And it's just like, who are these children? What might they be hiding? Based on what have you read? All these different things. They're going to come up with these great answers. They're going to notice that this is from an older time, and they're going to probably say, okay, this is definitely different things. There we go. So they'll come up, you'll have the essential questions you want the students to understand for the lesson. How the anxieties raised by the Cold War affect life in the United States. You can have them write that down in a journal, put it on a post-it, all different ways, share with one another. But this obviously the question that you would want them to kind of consider possible answers for. You're telling them about anxieties in the United States and in the Cold War. You're gonna play the red dot game, and this game is the greatest game. So basically, what you do, you receive a slip of paper. There are certain students that have dots, and they're gonna basically try to join groups. They're not gonna tell one another. So, like you saw in my video, students were accusing each other of being dots because the point of the game is that you're supposed to create a group with no dots, and then the dots trying to join a group. So everybody's like trying to trick one another and deceive one another on who's a dot or try to figure out who the dot is. But the cool part about this lesson is that the structures are just in the video.
You will each be given a slip of paper. Some of these slips of paper have red dots on them. Secretly check to see if yours does. Don't tell anyone what you've got. You now have 7 minutes to form groups of at least 2 people. Ask others if they are dots or non-dots. Do not show your paper. Non-dots. If you suspect someone is a dot, don't let them join your group. Report your suspicion to the teacher. Dots. Deny that you are a dot. Try to draw suspicion away from yourself and sneak your way into a group. Make sure you are the only dot in the group. When time runs out, the smallest group will be selected to show their papers first. If no one is a dot, they are the current winners. Continue to the next largest group and so on until all groups have shown their papers. The largest group with no dots wins. All dots who are the only dot in their group also win. Good luck.
So that's the game right there. It gets real exciting. I'm just letting you guys know it's a real fun game. But it's really just to talk about the anxieties that people faced during the Cold War. And so you just a debriefing session through this. There's some really cool things that come out of it. Some students start comparing like these accusation and anxieties to like social media today and what they're seeing on social media. Just really great class conversations come out of this game and a lot of excitement. And you usually have their attention, so you're like got them reeled in. And I know as a teacher, that's the best feeling when you know you have a class reeled in with you. And this game really does that. So just a bunch of debriefing questions that come after that to continue like the energy and get the response of students. The rest of the lesson now is going to be that students are going to read and they're going to actually do some like getting some content of the topic, right? So they're going to learn about communist sympathizers, Alger Hiss, McCarthyism, the Rosenberg trial. Next session, then after that, we'll talk about how that connects to the dot games. Then we're going to go ahead and there's another short video. This I'm not going to show you long, but talk about this the idea that is of
there was a turtle by the name of Bert.
nice 19 video about duck and cover that they'll watch, and then we'll once again talk about the bomb attacks and unfortunately in our world today we have lockdown drills and how that connects to the anxiety of them being at school like that. So once again, good conversations. We're connecting history to the students' lives today. So once you always want to debrief, you always want to talk about what's happening, anxieties. You always want to make sure you check the students' temperatures. You know, any lesson, any teaching you do, you're going to make sure that you're doing that. You're not just going off and assuming things. You want to always make sure that students are okay with these topics because these are, intense topics. They'll continue to read, learn more about the atomic age of the Federal Defense Administration. They'll provide some answers in their interactive student notebook. These questions can be actually done online, or you can print out a paper version of this hard copy and do it that way. It's a totally your style, your opinion. It's up to you what you want to do. I like to do the online stuff, but I also know a lot of teachers love to still print stuff out. So that's the lesson. And after the lesson, you have some vocabulary. There's some drag and drop. So you can do this as a class to kind of make sure students have, some of the concepts down. You'll never see more than 5 words usually on a page because we don't want to overwhelm the students. So there's always like 4 to 5, 3 to 4 words you're going to see when you do these drag and drops. Then you have the processing. Processing is super important. And this processing for them, they're going to read a little more about summary, and then we're going to ask them to do this. And this is actually sometimes better to do this on paper than this to do it online. But they're going to come up with 2 warning signs. One sign to focus on McCarthyism, and one sign to focus on the atomic age. Or if you want to modify this to focus on something else, to something more current, then you can do that as well. Using this little box here, students can actually draw, add pictures, do a bunch of different things, or they can actually, just you can print that out and you can do it on a hard copy piece of paper as well. I see I have a question from Anna. So I usually assign the readings as I'm doing the assignment. So I don't assign the readings off on their own. It's usually that we're doing the activity and in the order of it, because I want to kind of have reading. So we do a lot of reading in class to answer your question. So I want to have a lot of discussion about the readings. I want to talk about it. I just don't want them to read and then to walk. I want them to talk to me about what they read and the main ideas. So we do a lot of reading in class. Thank you for that question. And I know there's a question in the Q&A that I haven't got to. I don't know, Derek, if you were able to get to that question. If not, I will. I can't see it while I'm sharing my screen, so I'll try to get to it before we get out of here, which is a little about 15 minutes or so. Okay. So that is ultimately a TCI lesson. And that is kind of the basics of what a TCI lesson is. That is strategies are explorational exercise strategy, but it's definitely that's what our TCI lessons look like. So just by looking at the slideshow without doing anything else, you can probably just walk through and you can do that lesson. I know you guys are amazing teachers. You can probably just use that slideshow. So if you leave anything today, take the classroom activity slideshow and just work from there. They actually can be edited as well. Oh, thank you, Zach. I appreciate. Thank you. The actually slideshows can be edited, and so you can make them your own. They're kind of like a Google Slide kind of setup. But that is something that is awesome. We just added about a year ago, and they keep on improving, and it's getting better and better. This box is what I want you guys to also classroom activity slideshow. Number 1 thing. Number 2 thing I want you to know is the planning box. This planning box is kind of just what you need. It's where I go when I'm starting to think about a lesson. Anytime you see orange in TCI, it's going to be for teachers. The first tab is just about the essential question, class objectives, a little bit what each things are going to be and how long it's going to take. Materials. Any materials you're going to need for this lesson. And the cool thing about this, you're going to see materials details. If you click on that, you click on the see materials details in this tab right here, it's going to tell you exactly what you're going to need. How many for each individual, how many for each that you need as a teacher. And it also tells you, and then you can just go ahead and print those out in PDF as well. The workbooks they actually come along. So they're called the interactive student notebooks. So I just clicked on it right here. And these are actually come in every single lesson. They're all very, very different. So here's what the printed one will look like. And you would just have students kind of answer those on the back of this on a separate piece of paper or in a journal. So hopefully that answers your question, Tara. So you have the materials, the procedures. This is kind of just like all the prep that you might need to do and things you need to preview, how the activity breaks down. So this takes you through the whole entire thing. So everything that we discussed and that we did is right there in that procedure section. So this is kind of a really important one. But like I said, this saves so much time than just you having to do all this on your own. It's all there for you. You're going to have to still spend some time prepping, obviously, until you get really familiar with it. But I promise you, if you teach the same class like 2-3 times a day, by the 3rd time, you're going to have this down. Another cool thing TCI does offer is that we differentiate instruction and we give you guys tips on how to do that. Now, all your classrooms are unique and they're all different. So I can't give you one for your class, but there's tips on how to do online reading supports. There's tips on providing scaffolds. There's tips on how to help English learners or learners that are below grade level. There's also the forgotten, sometimes students with special needs, but also students that are advanced learners, options on how to make this more advanced for them as well. So you have all that wrapped up in his differentiating section. I really love this section because I need it because my class needs that differentiating. But it's a really amazing way for you to kind of to modify your lessons as need be. And like once again, this is unique to every single TCI lesson. So lesson 39's differentiating is going to be different than lesson 40 or lesson 3. So these are areas that you definitely want to focus on. Lastly, we have enhanced learning. Because we have so much time, if you ever need more time, TCI has also provided some more information and more things here just to go outside of the website, but just some more resources as well. So I wanted to share with you guys thank that. So the assessment tab. The assessment tab. Oh, okay. There's not a tab for assessment, but if you're talking about down here at the bottom, I think maybe this is what you're looking for. Sharon. Different ways that we assess. So if you go to TCI assessment, this tab right here, there's 3 different styles of assessment that TCI can do. One is the processing, what I showed you that happens at the end of the activity slideshow. That is always at the end of the activity slideshow. But if you want to just go ahead, you can always do that there. There's also lesson games, which is like a Jeopardy format that is like where you can do as a class, or you can assign students this as an assignment as well. So it's just basically like Jeopardy. You just have students answer questions and they get a point if they get it right. I'm just picking, so don't judge me, but so they get it right, and then it releases a picture. This can be done as a quiz or it can be done as a class activity. But then we also have, I think maybe what you're asking Sharon about is the assessment tool. And the assessment tool, or assessments, this is the tab that you're talking about right here, the assessment tab. This is just a good old fashioned test generator. So you can create a test several ways. You can do this. I'll just show you guys really briefly. Taking this little time here, but it's basically a test generator where you can use TCI questions. You can use questions that you create into the tests. You can use questions from your district only. If your district has questions they want for certain standardized testing or some type of just everybody's doing the same exam. You use other teachers as well. I would just say that the other teachers are not vetted out by TCI. They're from all over the nation, so who knows what those questions are. So be mindful when you're using that. You have the choices of doing the multiple choice, writing questions, prompt only, tables, drawings, fill in the blank. But it's just an old-fashioned test generator. If that helps answer your question at all, Sharon. Thanks. No, appreciate it. Also, you guys, is this, Jacob, I think for me, it's a multi-day lesson. I have 55-minute classes, so there's no way I can do it. So this lesson takes about 2 days. The first day, I'm definitely going in, I'm doing the red dot game, and then we're probably doing one of the readings, and then we're finishing it up probably the next day with some other readings and also the processing. And maybe I'll give them a little extra time in the processing if I want them to do some really amazing work as well. You're welcome. So I am running out of time with you guys. Time flies by, but I want you guys to just know this purple tab on the left still has so many other resources. If you want to go, there's unit projects. If you have time to do unit projects, every unit has unit introduction, inquiry project, a timeline challenge, analyzing American ideas. So all the 9 units have that. There's also biographies that you can use right here. If you click on these biography tabs, you can use those. There's civics lessons. So if you click on the civics tab, there's lessons about analyzing current events. So like say like to start the year, you say, hey, we're gonna have current events. I want you guys to analyze it a certain way. This lesson can help you do that. Or primary and secondary sources. So it has lessons like that you can also still use in your classroom. I mentioned that it has primary sources. So if you want students to do primary sources for certain writings, you can click on that tab and it has a list of just all different primary sources that they can just go to without having to look up or leaving the website. And I also mentioned biographies. Biographies are super cool. These are just kind of there's so many. There's a whole entire library of just people that have just impacted the world, and they have a little green tab. There's a little video about it, or they have like a little write up about each person as well. There's so much more, you guys. There's maps. There's grades and assigning and different things like that. But vocab cards that students can use. But I really want to take you guys back to this professional development tab because this kind of gives you some of the nuts and bolts as well. So when you have some time, it tells you how some more navigation and planning for TCI to do a TCI lesson, to assign and grade. What's new? There's always new stuff. Like when you go to this tab, there's always new things that are doing. There's a search a tab now that I gotta kind of look more about, but you can definitely go to use those as well. If you want to integrate into Google Classroom or Canva or Schoology, it kind of gives you steps to do that. I'm actually doing a little bit about that next session next. So if you wanted to look into that, that's fine. Building cooperative classroom, teaching tips. There's a bunch of stuff on the PD that I really love for you guys to definitely check out and see. Thank you, Derek. So once again, I'm just gonna wrap it up here for you guys. I know we are running out of time. I really appreciate you guys. Oops, this is not. That's the wrong. Uh-oh. I really appreciate you guys being here. But once again, we have a TCI newsletter, so feel free to join that. It's on the website. We have a Facebook page. You want to scan that QR code. You can see this a little bit later on today as well. To have a Facebook group to share with people. Once again, you're going to be certified by the end of the day. And our next session, Reflection 2. Let me know how you guys are feeling with an emoji. If you guys are willing to pull an emoji out, let me know how you guys feel about today's session. That would be great. But at the end of the day, there will be a gift card. So drawing, if you guys do share with your TCI on TCI Twitter or Facebook or X. Coming up next from 10:15 to 11:05, we are going to have more sessions. So we're going to have deep dive to grading. That's what it means. So you want to hang out with me again, I'm going to be doing that. We'll have discovering what's new for the back to school, district spotlight for the Glasgow Township, lesson games, minimizing grading, maximum fun, science investigations, time-saving tips, support content literacy, and top classroom activities for middle school. Thank you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful rest of a wonderful day. Maybe I'll see you guys again in the next session. But I really do appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, Derek and I are here to hang around for a little bit longer, for at least another 5-10 minutes or so, and we can answer any other questions that you may have. But that is the session for us. Thank you guys for showing up to the Foundations of High School with TCI.